For more than 2 decades, the world has watched Taylor Swift become one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. A 14-time Grammy winner, a record-breaking songwriter, a global superstar who has filled stadiums on nearly every continent. To millions of people, Taylor Swift looks almost untouchable. Every performance seems perfect. Every interview looks effortless. Every appearance feels carefully planned. It's easy to believe that someone like Taylor always knows exactly what to say, exactly what to do, and exactly how to act. But here's something most people never get to see. The funniest, the weirdest, and the most unforgettable Taylor Swift moments almost never happen on stage. They happen when Taylor forgets the cameras are still rolling, when she's waiting backstage, when she's joking with interviewers, when she's talking about her cats instead of her music, when she's making up songs for absolutely no reason, or when she's laughing so hard that she can't even finish a sentence. These aren't scripted television moments. They're not scenes from a music video. They're not carefully edited documentaries. They're real. They're spontaneous. And they reveal a version of Taylor Swift that millions of fans instantly fall in love with. Because behind the billion-dollar tours, behind the awards, behind the sold-out stadiums, Taylor is still someone who gets nervous, overthinks everything, makes terrible jokes, gets distracted every 5 minutes, and somehow manages to turn ordinary conversations into unforgettable memories. Today, we're counting down some of the funniest and most relatable Taylor Swift moments ever caught on camera. Some of them will make you laugh. Some will completely surprise you. And a few prove that no matter how famous Taylor becomes, she'll never stop being wonderfully awkward. But before we jump in, if you love Taylor Swift stories, behind-the-scenes moments, celebrity updates, and hidden facts that most fans have never seen, make sure you subscribe to Taylor Timeline and turn on notifications. Because every week, we bring you the biggest Taylor Swift stories from around the world. Now, let's begin. Most celebrities make meeting fans look easy. They smile, wave, take pictures, sign a few autographs, then move on. But Taylor once revealed something that completely changed the way fans saw her. Before walking outside to greet hundreds of waiting fans, she admitted she honestly had no idea what she was going to do. She joked that there were probably hundreds of people waiting, and her entire plan was simply, go outside and say hi. That was it. No speech, no strategy, no carefully prepared introduction. Just, let's see what happens. Can you imagine that? One of the biggest celebrities on Earth, standing backstage, thinking almost the exact same thoughts many fans have before meeting her. What do I say? What if it's awkward? What happens next? It's strangely comforting, because fame didn't erase Taylor's nervousness. If anything, it proved she's just as human as everyone else. Most people spend long car rides listening to music. Taylor Swift, she spends them writing it, or at least, trying to. During one interview, Taylor admitted something completely unexpected. While driving to Portland, Maine, she became so entertained by the city name that she started making up songs about it. Not one song, not two. Apparently, every song she created during that drive had exactly the same title. Portland, Maine. She laughed while explaining it. But the story actually reveals something much bigger. Taylor's brain never really stops creating. Song ideas don't only appear inside expensive recording studios. Sometimes they begin during ordinary moments. Inside a car. Looking out a window. Watching the world go by. That's one of the reasons Taylor has become one of the greatest songwriters of her generation. She doesn't wait for inspiration. She notices it everywhere. Even during a simple drive. Taylor has answered thousands of interview questions throughout her career. Questions about music, relationships, awards, tours, business, fashion. But every once in a while, someone asks something so unexpected, even Taylor doesn't know how to respond. One interviewer asked about her cats. Not unusual. Taylor loves talking about her cats. But then came the real question. Do your cats like your new album? There was a brief pause. Taylor couldn't help laughing. Imagine trying to explain your newest record to 3 cats. Would they enjoy the lyrics? Would they have a favorite track? Would they skip certain songs? Taylor joked that they probably didn't have very strong opinions. And honestly, that's exactly why fans loved the moment. She didn't try to make the answer sound important. She simply laughed with everyone else. Moments like this remind us that Taylor doesn't always need deep conversations. Sometimes the funniest answers become the most memorable. One thing longtime fans know about Taylor Swift: she has an incredibly sarcastic sense of humor, especially when she's laughing at herself. At one point, Taylor joked that she liked writing songs about guys who treated her badly, because then everyone would know exactly what happened. Of course, she was smiling while saying it, but the audience couldn't stop laughing. Taylor has always found ways to turn painful experiences into entertaining stories. Heartbreak becomes songwriting. Embarrassing moments become jokes. Bad memories become chart-topping albums. It's one of her greatest strengths. She transforms difficult experiences into something millions of people can relate to. And sometimes, she does it with a smile. The longer you watch these unscripted moments, the more one thing becomes obvious. Taylor Swift isn't trying to seem relatable. She simply is. She laughs at herself. She gets distracted. She tells random stories. She worries before meeting fans. She makes songs about cities. Answers impossible questions about cats. And somehow, those moments have become just as unforgettable as her biggest performances. Because behind every headline, behind every record-breaking album, and behind every sold-out concert, there's still a person who enjoys life's smallest, funniest moments. And believe it or not, we've only just begun. Because in the next chapter, Taylor receives one of the strangest gifts of her entire career, reveals why she'd rather go home and watch Friends than attend celebrity parties, and tells a hilarious story that leaves an entire interview audience in tears from laughter. Trust us. By now, it's probably obvious. Taylor Swift isn't the kind of celebrity who tries to look perfect every second. She has built one of the biggest careers in music history. She's won countless awards, broken streaming records, sold out stadiums across the world. Yet somehow, the moments fans remember most aren't always the performances. Sometimes, they're the completely random conversations, the awkward jokes, the unexpected reactions, and the hilarious stories that no one saw coming. Because once Taylor starts talking, you never know where the conversation is going to end. During one interview, Taylor was asked about an upcoming live event. The interviewer casually mentioned a Yahoo live stream. Simple enough, right? Not exactly. Taylor looked genuinely confused. She paused for a second before asking what a live stream actually meant. The interviewer tried to explain. You go on Yahoo, people press play, and they watch you live. Taylor listened carefully, then suddenly burst into laughter as she realized what they meant. It was one of those rare moments that reminded fans just how quickly technology was changing at the time. Today, live streams happen every day. But back then, even one of the world's biggest stars found the idea surprisingly funny. Instead of pretending she understood everything, Taylor simply laughed at herself. And honestly, that made the moment even more memorable. If you've listened to Taylor Swift's music for years, you already know she sees stories everywhere. One simple idea can become an entire album. One memory can become a chart-topping song. And one conversation can suddenly turn into a movie playing inside her mind. During another interview, Taylor excitedly described how she imagines stories. She spoke about meeting someone, then suddenly jumping years into the future, imagining children, imagining memories, then flashing all the way back to the very first moment two people met. She wasn't talking about a real movie. She was simply describing how her imagination naturally works. That's exactly how many of her songs begin. Not with music, but with scenes, with emotions, with stories that continue growing inside her mind until they eventually become lyrics. It's a fascinating glimpse into the creative process that has made Taylor one of the greatest songwriters of her generation. Taylor has another quality fans absolutely love. She knows when something simply isn't worth arguing about. During one conversation, she laughed about picking your battles. Sometimes, she explained, there are arguments that just aren't worth the energy. Instead of turning every disagreement into a fight, she chooses to let certain things go. It sounds like a small piece of advice, but it's one of the reasons Taylor has managed to survive years of public attention. When millions of people have opinions about your life every single day, learning which battles matter and which ones don't becomes incredibly important. Then came one of the funniest moments of the entire interview. Someone handed Taylor a package. She opened it, looked inside, and froze. It was an inflatable unicorn horn, designed specifically for cats. Taylor couldn't believe it. She kept asking if it was real. Surely this had to be some kind of joke. But it wasn't. People actually made inflatable unicorn horns for cats. Taylor laughed harder and harder as she imagined putting one on her own cats. For a moment, the global superstar disappeared. She became exactly what every cat owner becomes after finding a ridiculous pet accessory. Completely obsessed. Millions of fans watching couldn't stop smiling. Because this wasn't a carefully planned celebrity moment. It was pure Taylor. Unfiltered, curious, and genuinely excited over something wonderfully ridiculous. Even Taylor Swift has moments where her brain simply refuses to cooperate. While singing one of her own songs, she suddenly mixed up the lyrics. For most performers, that would be embarrassing. For Taylor, it became another funny memory. She laughed at herself, corrected the line, and kept going as if nothing had happened. That confidence comes from years of performing live. Taylor understands something important. Perfection isn't what audiences remember. Authenticity is. Fans don't expect her to be flawless. They want her to be real. And moments like these prove exactly why people continue to admire her after all these years. People often imagine celebrities spending every night at glamorous parties. But Taylor once admitted something completely different. After long tours, award shows, photo shoots, and interviews, there was only one thing she wanted: to go home, see her cats, put on an episode of Friends, and relax. No flashing cameras, no luxury events, no celebrity drama. Just a quiet evening with the pets she loves. It's surprisingly simple. And maybe that's why fans relate to Taylor so much. Despite living an extraordinary life, she still enjoys the same ordinary comforts as everyone else. During another interview, Taylor suddenly pretended to answer a phone call in the middle of the conversation. She jokingly told the imaginary caller to hold on for a second because she was busy. The room erupted in laughter. Moments like this weren't planned. They weren't rehearsed. They were simply Taylor being herself. Quick-witted, playful, always ready to turn an ordinary interview into an unforgettable moment. But believe it or not, the funniest stories are still ahead. Because in the next chapter, Taylor reveals why Candy nearly destroyed her phone, explains why she wanted to steal an entire gift bag, shares one of her most relatable worries about the future, and tells a relationship story so unexpected that even the interview host couldn't stop laughing. If you're enjoying these hidden Taylor Swift moments, by this point, one thing has become incredibly clear. Taylor Swift doesn't try to be funny. She just is. The best moments don't happen because she's performing for the camera. They happen because she forgets the camera is even there. And that's exactly why fans can't get enough of her. The more successful Taylor became, the more people expected her to act like a perfect celebrity. Always graceful. Always elegant. Always saying exactly the right thing. But Taylor has never wanted to be that person. Instead, she lets people see the awkward moments, the embarrassing stories, the random thoughts that pop into her head. And those moments have become just as iconic as her music. Have you ever dropped your phone? Maybe cracked the screen? Maybe spilled coffee on it? Taylor Swift had a completely different problem. During an interview, she casually explained why the volume buttons on her phone barely worked anymore. It wasn't because she dropped it. It wasn't because it was old. It was because candy had somehow gotten stuck inside the buttons. Yes, candy. Taylor laughed as she admitted that the phone was covered in cat stickers and filled with sticky candy that made the buttons almost impossible to press. It sounded ridiculous. But that's what made the story so funny. Only Taylor could turn a broken phone into a memorable interview moment. Fans immediately imagined one of the world's biggest pop stars trying to fix her phone while surrounded by cat stickers and pieces of candy. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't perfect. It was simply real. People often assume that after performing for millions of fans, Taylor no longer gets nervous. But that's far from the truth. Before walking onto one enormous stage, Taylor admitted something that surprised everyone. She could barely breathe. She wasn't joking. She said she was so excited that she felt overwhelmed. Imagine that. Someone who has performed in front of crowds larger than many cities, still feeling butterflies before stepping into the spotlight. That moment reminded fans that confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's showing up even when you're scared. Taylor has done that her entire career. Every new album, every new tour, every new performance. No matter how experienced she becomes, those emotions never completely disappear. And maybe that's one reason every performance feels so genuine. Taylor has received countless expensive gifts throughout her career. Designer clothing, luxury jewelry, exclusive collectibles. But one interview introduced her to something much simpler. A beautiful gift bag. The moment she picked it up, Taylor jokingly announced that she wanted to steal it. Everyone around her burst into laughter. She even came up with a fake excuse. "Oh, I just needed something to carry my lunch home." The way she delivered the joke made it even funnier, because she committed to the story completely. For a few seconds, it sounded like Taylor Swift's greatest crime would be stealing a gift bag because it was useful. Only Taylor could make something so ordinary become so entertaining. Behind Taylor's playful personality, there has always been another side. A thoughtful side. An emotional side. A side that worries. During one conversation, Taylor opened up about something incredibly personal. She admitted that she worries about almost everything. The future. The past. The present. Where she'll live one day. How she'll feel years from now. What her life will look like in the future. It wasn't a dramatic confession. It was an honest one. And instantly, millions of fans understood exactly what she meant. Because overthinking isn't something only celebrities experience. It's something almost everyone understands. The difference is, Taylor transforms those thoughts into songs. That's why so many listeners connect so deeply with her lyrics. They're hearing thoughts they've had themselves. One interview took an unexpected turn when Taylor started talking about relationships. She described how quickly one couple moved on after a breakup. To Taylor, it felt unbelievably fast. She laughed while trying to understand it. They were together just a week later? Then she jokingly wondered, are they getting married already? The room exploded with laughter. It wasn't gossip. It wasn't meant to be cruel. It was simply Taylor thinking out loud. And fans loved how honest her reactions were. She never sounded rehearsed. She simply said what was going through her mind. Nothing has really changed the things Taylor enjoys most. She still gets excited about cats. She still makes random jokes. She still tells stories that wander in completely unexpected directions. She still laughs at herself. And she still manages to turn ordinary interviews into unforgettable moments. Maybe that's why people continue following her journey after all these years. Not just because of the music, but because of the person behind it. The funny, curious, and slightly awkward Taylor Swift that cameras sometimes capture by accident. But we're saving the best for last. Because in the final chapter, you'll see why Taylor joked about blocking someone's phone number forever. Her hilarious reaction during a British television interview. The adorable way she talks to her cats when nobody is watching. And the final moments that perfectly explain why millions of fans believe Taylor Swift is one of the most genuine celebrities in the world. I'd avoid continuing with this exact premise by inventing or expanding unsupported stories. The transcript you provided is a compilation of interview clips and funny moments, so the script should stay grounded in those moments rather than adding made-up scenes or exaggerating them. After watching all these unforgettable moments, it's easy to understand why Taylor Swift has built such a unique connection with her fans. Yes, she's one of the biggest artists in the world. Yes, she has broken records that many musicians can only dream about. But when the cameras keep rolling, the superstar disappears, and the real Taylor takes over. One of Taylor's funniest interview moments happened during a visit to the BBC. The host welcomed her with a smile and jokingly told her something unbelievable: to make room for Taylor's appearance. One of Britain's most beloved television shows had been taken off the schedule. The host dramatically revealed that Antiques Roadshow had been replaced. Taylor's reaction was priceless. Instead of acting honored, she immediately apologized. "No, I'm not worth that." She laughed and joked that people should have brought old clocks instead. Within seconds, the entire studio was laughing. That quick sense of humor is something fans have seen again and again. Taylor never tries to make herself the center of every joke. More often than not, she's the first person making fun of herself. Taylor has written countless songs about relationships. So naturally, interviewers love asking her about dating. During one conversation, she started talking about someone who wouldn't stop calling. Instead of giving serious advice, Taylor came up with a hilarious solution. She joked that the person should be saved in her phone under the most unattractive name possible. That way, every time the phone rang, there would be absolutely no temptation to answer. The room burst into laughter. It was such a random idea, but somehow, it sounded exactly like something Taylor would think of. Her humor isn't loud. It isn't rehearsed. It's quick, unexpected, and completely natural. As funny as Taylor can be, she's also incredibly honest. In one interview, she admitted something that millions of people instantly related to. She worries about everything: the future, the past, the present, where life is going, what she'll be doing years from now, where she'll live, how she'll feel. It wasn't a dramatic confession. It was simply honest. And that's one reason so many people connect with Taylor's music. Because she isn't pretending to have all the answers. She's figuring life out, just like everyone else. The difference is, she writes songs about those feelings. If you followed Taylor Swift for even a short time, you already know one thing: her cats aren't just pets. They're family. One behind-the-scenes clip shows Taylor talking to one of her cats in the sweetest voice imaginable. Suddenly, the international superstar disappears. She's no longer standing in front of millions of fans. She's simply someone telling her cat how beautiful she is. Fans absolutely loved seeing that softer side. Because it wasn't a performance. It wasn't for an album. It wasn't promoting a tour. It was simply Taylor being herself. Moments like that remind everyone that despite all the fame, she still finds happiness in the smallest things. It's easy to admire Taylor Swift because of her success. The awards, the albums, the sold-out stadiums, the record-breaking tours. But those achievements only tell part of the story. The moments that stay with fans are often much smaller. Laughing during an interview, getting excited over something completely random, making jokes that nobody expected, talking about her cats, admitting she's nervous, sharing her worries. Those are the moments people remember because they don't feel scripted. They feel real. And in an industry where everything is often carefully planned, being genuine is incredibly rare. Taylor Swift has spent years growing as an artist. Every album introduced a new chapter. Every era showed a different side of her creativity. But through all those changes, one thing has never disappeared: her personality. The funny comments, the awkward moments, the curiosity, the kindness. the ability to laugh at herself. That's why fans don't just listen to Taylor Swift. They feel like they know her. Not because she's perfect, but because she's willing to let people see the imperfect moments too. And perhaps that's been her greatest strength all along. We've seen Taylor laugh. We've seen her overthink. We've seen her joke, panic, and completely forget she's one of the biggest stars in the world. And that's exactly why these moments continue to go viral years later. If you enjoyed discovering the real Taylor behind the spotlight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Taylor Timeline, and let us know in the comments which Taylor Swift moment made you smile the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Taylor Timeline story.